فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عني. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بديع السماوات والأرض وإذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له إنما أمره إذا به ملكوت كل شيء إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
أعوذ
أبلغ.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وسلم. الحمد لله. الحمد لله. الحمد لله. الأول بلا ابتداء. وبأبوه تكبر الذنوب والسيئات، وبكرامه تكبر القربان والعطايا، وبلطفه تستر العيوب والزلات، والذي يديك وهبك هذا وأرشد منع وأعطى. نعمده ونستعين ونتوكل عليه. من يهد الله بيده ورغاما لمن جحد به وكفر. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ونعم الوكيل. نعم النصير. إنه على حديث وأذن لحديث الله. وزار الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. نحمد الله وعلى كاتبين واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الكافرين الذين يدعون. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغ رسوله الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. We thank Almighty Allah. We praise the Almighty Allah. We appreciate the Almighty Allah. We salute the glorify the Almighty Allah. It fails without it lasts without any point of termination. It does whatever it wishes, but it will never make any mistake. Whatever Allah wants to do will be. Whatever it doesn't want to do will never be. It is the giver of life. It is the taker of life. It is the giver of life. Who is covering our weaknesses. It's getting known to our fellow human beings. We think there is no other God worthy of worship apart from the Almighty Allah. We have faith that our noble Prophet Muhammad was nothing but the messenger of Allah, and he has delivered the message based on his capabilities and as he was permitted by the Almighty Allah. We pray that the Almighty Allah continue to shower his blessings on our noble Prophet Muhammad his companions. What is Quran and Sunnah? From it. I welcome you once again to another edition of NASFAT Ramadan webinar. We do it every evening of Ramadan. And I pray to Almighty Allah to accept it as an act of ibadah from all of us. I salute and I appreciate the entire members of NASFAT Ramadan committee, especially the webinar organizing committee, even led by Engineer Kamal, Alaji Saka, Imam Olagunju, Imam Yahya, and all the members of Ramadan committee, nearly us in the past, that hosted us, and they donated handsomely towards the cause of Allah. Alaji and Alaji already been. تأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة فإنها على كبيرة إلا على الخاسرين الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون. Command what is good. You yourself don't do what is good. Don't
This meeting is being recorded.
3 on the concept of patience, inshallah. Allah make it for us. I don't know how long. Aki Ọlọ́run, àyìn Ọlọ́run, àgbọ́lọ́run ọba tó le, ọba àkọ́kọ́ tí ò ní bẹ̀rẹ̀, ọba àgbẹ̀yìn tí ò lópin, ọba àmọ̀sí alọ́fẹ́ bí mí, ọba ṣe yóò tí ò lè ṣàṣìṣe, olùgá àwọn ọ̀gá, olùṣáájú àwọn aṣáájú, olùbá àwọn ọba, olùgbà nínú adájọ́, olùbá tó pé ìkẹ́ rẹ̀, àánú rẹ̀, ó parí dára lórí ẹ̀rọ kan wa. Àmójútó rẹ̀ ló jẹ́ ká máa wà láyé ní òjẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan máa fi àjọ wá tí wọ́n ti dẹ́ṣẹ̀ tó. Àpáńlé rẹ̀ lóńgà ọ̀rẹ́ tá a ń ṣe. Àánú rẹ̀ lórí wa lóbi jẹ́ ká lè gbẹ̀lú ká wá hàn tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ wa. Afárasí ọdún náà. Àjẹ́rìí kò sọba kan tó ṣe é sí àpò yẹn. Àtọrọ ọ̀gẹ́. Wọ́n ṣe ńlá tó ń jẹ́ Muhammad. Ló bá kí Ànábì Muhammad. Ló bá di Ànábì Muhammad. Àtùgbọ́n ara ilé Ànábì Muhammad. Mo ti kí gbogbo àwọn elétò lọ́mọdé àbàṣán ilẹ̀sàn rẹ̀. Mo kí àwọn tó ń gbà wọ́n lálejò láyé wa alóòrò ló gbà lálejò lérè. Ọ̀nà ilé sanwó lórí fún wa tán ti sẹ́wọ́ lálejò tán fún ìsìlámù tán fún kúrò àlè lọ́mọdé àbàṣán ilẹ̀sàn rẹ̀. Kọ́dà wọn láti Òṣogbo, kọ́dà wọn láti Àbújá, alájà Kúbúrà Tìlàwà, alájà Ìjà Tùbánjọ, alájà Adémọ̀sùn, alájà rẹ̀ níbi èlò. Gbogbo yín alájẹ wa mọ̀lẹ́bí tí òye bá ń jí gbogbo yín pátá tẹ̀ ti gbà wá lálejò ọlọ́mọdé àṣà ilẹ̀ ẹ̀sán rẹ̀ òkè àwọn elétò wọn ṣe àwọn ẹlẹ́sàn rẹ̀ wọ́n láwọn àwọn àkú wàtá ilẹ̀ abilẹ̀ ilẹ̀ àti ọ̀rọ̀ tá a bá bọ́dọ̀ láti kọ́ntínú lé ìjàgbá ọ̀rọ̀ lọ. Àti mú kan nínú àti mú nǹkan tẹ́lẹ̀ àti pọ̀ àti pọ̀ mọ́ bọ́dọ̀ ti fún alágbára mọ́ títí àánà tó lè láì wá ìrànlọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run àti sọ̀láyé fún wa yẹn àwa bọ́ sí nípa sùúrù àti ti apá kìíní nípa sùúrù àti apá kejì nípa sùúrù léèrè apá kẹta àtọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí pàtàkì pé Ọlọ́run mẹ́sàn ọ̀rọ̀ pàtàkì ọ̀rọ̀ sọ sùúrù ti sùúrù bẹ́ẹ̀ ló lágbára Ọlọ́run á fọ̀ tí wọ́n mọ̀ tí ó yẹ wa kí ó dábí tọrọ pa sùúrù àkọọ́lẹ̀ tó fún wa pé àdísì ní wà lẹ́sọ̀lẹ̀ ìmánì ìdajì ìgbàgbọ́ ní Jésù àti ìmánì ó dàgẹ́ bí orí àtàrà tá a bá gé orí kúrò lára ara òwúrò fún wa ibi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó kọjá a ti sọ for everybody who's afflicted to complain, but and you monitor and consider for them. Muhammad Ali said, when he wanted to define Islam, he said it means not seeing any difference between the time of ease and the time of difficulty. Whether you are at ease, when people look at you, you should not see any difference between when you are in difficulty. Even the coin say that's a difficult human being. The difference between the period of ease and period of difficulty, that you are being human. If you are afflicted with sorrow, if you are afflicted with calamity, and we be so concerned, and we want for us to do that. But the lectures I've been giving you in the last 4 or 5 days, 6 days, 10 days, is that you should know what you want to say. As sorrow in the at the first strike of the calamity, don't say a statement that you're going to regret at the end of the day. Even call you say, it's not possible for me to maintain the same posture, for me to maintain the same appearance at the time of ease, at the time of difficulty. I have to be human. Who will notice that? Who will notice that I'm melancholy? Who will notice that I've been afflicted with calamity? Our mother, Miriam, mother of Isa, when she was undergoing labor, was to give birth. There are 2 things. Labor pain. She could not explain to anybody how she came about the pregnancy. She went to a farm, the date farm, and she was holding it. Allah says in the Quran, قالت يا ليتني ميت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا. Oh Allah, I've died before now, and I've been forgotten. That shows that she exhibited the humanity in her. Nobody can say we should maintain the period. We maintain the same posture during the period of ease and the period of difficulty. Today, I'm going to now start talking about different names and situations for suffering, as I like it by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya. I've said that I found very interesting, very helpful, very instructive, and very handy the book written by our Sheikh Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya, which is titled Patience and Gratitude. He has listed so many names for patience. He has come about the names based on the situations that we need to exhibit patience. And I've researched, and I've been able to get some ideas of the Prophet that are relevant to some of the situations that Qayyim has highlighted. And I acknowledge the work of Abu Amina Elias, whose website I found very useful when I was looking for relevant ideas to some of the situations that have been. Báwo sùúrù lóríṣiríṣi pẹ̀lú orúkọ tí ṣèkò wa Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya fún sùúrù náà ló pé ó mọbi tó kọ́ ibi tí sùúrù ti tẹ̀lé lọ́kọ̀ kan ọwá fún orúkọ ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Sùúrù náà ní gbogbo ẹ̀. Mọ ìwé tí a bá yẹ kọ mo rí ó wúlò láti sọ̀rọ̀ pa sùúrù pọ̀. Ọ̀pákòwé náà ní sùúrù àtọpẹ́ nínú. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì, mo wá rí àwọn hadith àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam àtọwọ́ àwọn aṣíwájú wa tí wọ́n ti síwájú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ nípa situation kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú pẹ̀lú serious strategy by saying that if patients consist of restraining sexual desire, it is called honor, and the opposite of which is adultery and promiscuity. In Nigeria says, if somebody exercises this patience, tí ó sì sìnà, àní pẹ̀lú kí ní máa ń sọ báyìí, àní àpàlẹ́ ni, aláàpàlẹ́ lẹ́nu yìí. Ẹni tí ó bá ṣe sùúrù tó bá ṣe sìnà, kò ní sìnà láàmú pé àtẹni tí ó lè mára dúró. Little wonder therefore that it will take animalistic tendencies for somebody to be caught and punished for engaging in adultery because of the Sharia requirement. It means one will have thrown caution to the wind, one will have dishonored himself to the extent of being caught in the act by 4 witnesses before somebody can be punished for engaging in adultery, except he confesses himself, or there's an evidence of pregnancy, or 4 people catch him or her in the act of adultery. We show that that person has become an animal. One person sees them in the act, he goes to call another person. That person sees them too, the 3rd person, the 4th person, and that is when the Sharia court will now pronounce the guilt of adultery. Or the woman comes out to confess, or the woman comes out to confess, and it is established that he or she is not insane, is of the right mind. Number 2, to buttress the point of that exercising patience and not committing illegal sexual intercourse could be called honor. You don't call it suicide, you don't call it honor. False accusation of adultery, false accusation of fornication will attract 80 lashes of cane. And scholars are saying this is to preserve honor of individuals. It means exercising restraint and not committing illegal sexual intercourse. It can be called patience in one word, and it can be called honor in another word, the opposite of which is adultery or promiscuity. Number 2, another name for patience, if you consider controlling one's stomach, it is called self-control, the opposite of which is greed. It means if you can control yourself, you know the kind of food you put in your stomach, any food that has been declared around, you put in your stomach, you don't overeat, you share food with your fellow woman, your neighbor, with your brother and sister. It is called self-control. It requires patience. The last time we met, I gave you three ways, 3 situations in which patience is needed. Number 1, to obey the commandment of Allah, in obeying the commandment of Allah and in worshiping Allah. Number 2, in running away from what Allah has asked us to run away from, all the prohibited acts, speeches, and attitudes, run away from. Number 3, to bear calamity with perseverance, with forbearance. You don't say what you are not expected to say. Number 2 situation that the has said is that if you can have patience and you regulate what enters your stomach, that is patience on one hand. Another name for it is self-control, the opposite of which is called greed. Once you cannot exercise patience and control what enters your stomach, Prophet said, Mamala Adamiyum Yaha Sarra min Batni. The Asbibun Adam Okulatun Kimna Suliba. فإن كان لا محل فثلث لطعامه وثلث للشراب وثلث لنفسه صلى الله عليه وسلم. Prophet said, the son of Adam cannot fill a vessel worse than his stomach. It means the worst vessel that any woman being can fill is his stomach. He says it will have been sufficient for that human being to take what is enough for him to straighten his back, to move about. What's sufficient for him? Just a small amount of food is needed for your back to be straightened, for you not to die of hunger. And it says, if you cannot do that, you cannot just take a small morsel of food. You can't take a small quantity of food, divide your stomach into three. A third for food, a third for drink, and a third for bread. Some of us will eat to the extent that we will not be able to leave that place. We'll be so tired after overeating, after overfilling our stomach. That is the definition of greed in Islam. Opposite of self-control. Self-control is another name for patience. If you can be guide what enters the stomach, you'll be said to have patience and be said to have self-control. If you don't do that, you'll be said to be a very greedy person. Rather than said, a morsel is enough for you to straighten your back. It's enough for you as a human being. Maybe you cannot do that. Divide your stomach into three. A part for food, a part for water, and a part for breathing. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Our Prophet said also, and this was reported by Jabir. He said, "Muhammad wahid yakfil ithnain, wa ta'amal ithnain yakfil arba, wa ta'amal arba yakfil thamaniya." Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, "Muhammad wahid yakfil ithnain." The food that is sufficient for one person, if you are not greedy, if you have self-control, will be sufficient for two persons. Any food, any quantity of food that is sufficient for two persons will be sufficient for four persons. Any quantity of food that is sufficient for four persons will be sufficient for 8 persons. So that can allow that as any food that you pick as a person, and you want to exercise patience by having self-control, by demonstrating self-control, that food that you want to eat, if you invite your fellow brother, quantity of food that is sufficient for 2 people. If 4 people eat it, they will enjoy it the more, and they will be filled up, and they will be satisfied. If the food is sufficient for 4 people, it can be sufficient for 8 people. So that's the teaching of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Number 3 situation. Another level, let me see that in Yoruba. Kéèyàn lè ṣe sùúrù láti wo tí ń lọ sẹ́nu rẹ̀ ní ń pè ní ìkóra ní ìyanu sùúrù kan náà ni. Ẹni tí ó bá lè ṣe ní ń pè lọ́kànjúà. Ànábì wa ní ìtọ́ ọmọ bàní Ádámù ìtọ́ ń fìlì tó bàjẹ́ tó burúkú ìláyé oníkù. Ẹlòmí ọmọ sọ pé ìdíkù ìládẹ́rú kòkò sọ́lọ́pàá tó tu o. Ó ní ó tó fọmọ èèyàn láti mú nǹkan kékeré tó lè jẹ́ kéyìn rẹ̀ náà ó kàn jẹ́ díẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kẹ́lẹ́kẹ́ mi àbọ̀ ó tó gùn. Nígbà tí wo ìlàlẹ́ sí yìí o tá a bá fẹ́ jẹun òṣèlú pinnu sí mẹ́ta ní òfojú dání. Ìdá kan wàá fi jẹun, ìdá kan wàá fi mọ́ni, ìdá kan wàá fi mí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọwọ́ jẹun níbi pé ànílè dìde nílẹ̀. Ẹni tí bá ń ṣe orí eléyìí kò ní ìkóra ní ìjánu kò ní sùúrù nìyẹn. A wà pè ní ọ̀kánjúà, ọ̀kánjúlè. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì àdébí Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam alẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ó ní oúnjẹ tẹ́ bá yú ẹnìkan bá láàmú tó kò ta ní sùúrù oyún yẹn méjì. Oúnjẹ tó bá yú yẹn méjì, oyún yẹn mẹ́rin. Oúnjẹ tó bá yú yẹn mẹ́rin, oyún yẹn mẹ́jọ. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam ẹ̀mí ló wà. Oúnjẹ tó bá kù fún ọ tó bá pẹ́ ẹnìkejì pé ẹ̀yà rẹ̀ jẹun yóò dùn lẹ́nu rẹ̀ ju bí ó ṣe dùn tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. Yóò sì yí ọkọ̀ pé ọmọ ìlú ẹlòmíì sàlámà lè kó látọ́lọ́gbọ́ ọ̀pàlẹ̀ oúnjẹ mọ́ gbé sábẹ́ àga ni. Gírídì ni àìní sùúrù ni nínú kọ́ ìbẹ̀jẹ̀ sí àdìjẹ́ kámọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta, the third situation, the set circumstance in which Ibn Qayyim has given another name to patience. He says, if it consists of keeping quiet and not disclosing what should not be disclosed, It is called discretion, the opposite of which is disclosing secret, the opposite of which is lie, and the opposite of which is slander or libel. If you can exercise restraint and don't talk anyhow, and don't disclose what you are not supposed to disclose, you are going to be referred to as a patient person, because you have discretion. But if you disclose anything that is true to you, but it's not worth disclosing, you lack discretion. And what you are doing can be regarded as lying, can be regarded as disclosing secret, can be regarded as libel, can be regarded as slander. Our noble Islam says, if you say it doesn't matter, they say I'm disclosing the secret. Whoever discloses the secret of his fellow brother, fellow human beings in this world, Allah will disclose all the secrets of the day of Qiyamah. Whoever conceals the secret, what is not supposed to be said of his fellow brother in this world, Allah will conceal the secret on the day, on the day that the secret will be revealed. Ẹni bá lè máa ní ìrìnjà nípa lè ṣe sùúrù tí òòjọ́ tí ọ̀yọ́ kó ilé yìí lọ sọ pé ẹni tó jẹ́ ọmọlúwàbí tó ní discretion tó lè kó rẹ̀ níjà nìyẹn. Ẹni tí ò bá lè ṣe yìí.
This meeting is being recorded.
Our Prophet said, Inna Allah tubghidu li-balighi min ar-rijali alladhi yatakhallal min lisanihi kama tatakhallal al-baqara. Alladhi yatakhallal bi lisanihi kama tatakhallal al-baqara. He said, Allah despises an extravagant speaker among men. Ìwé Ọlọ́run ló sọ fún bínú sẹ́ni náà ẹni tí ò ní sùúrù tí ò lè pẹ́ ìlànà kó má sọ ohun tí ó yẹ kó sọ wọn á fi wé màálù. Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam eléyìí amúrò ló mú wa pé Ọlọ́run bínú sẹ́ni tí ò lè tó rẹ̀ ní ìlànà pẹ̀lú òṣìṣọ́ ọwọ́ àfi wọ́n wé ẹni tí àwọn ààrẹ ti pa pàràpàrà tí ó lè mú gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn màálù. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì kó ṣe rí ó sọ fún wa pé Mu'adh ibn Jabal wọn náà wọn sábẹ́ Ànábì Muhammad ó sọ pé wọ́n àdúrásì wọn ó ní kallim nasa qalila wa kallim rabbaka ta'ala kathira la'alla qalbaka yara Allah ta'ala. Kallim nasa qalila ìwọ kó ṣe rí wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀ gáwọn èèyàn o wa kallim rabbaka kathira tó bá dé wẹ́n ní kó sọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run kó máa bá sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹni bá ń kírun tó yẹn náfílà sàdákàtà rẹ̀ orí rẹ̀ ní kallim nasa qalila wa kallim rabbaka kathira mọ́ máa bá yàn ọjọ́ púpọ̀. Tá a bá dá jókòó tá a bá dá wà we are more productive when we are alone. We are more resourceful when you are alone. I'm not saying you should keep away from people. You should talk, but talk to people. Kallim nasa qalila. Let's take the advice of Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Talk to people a little. وَكَلِّمْ رَبَّكَ كَثِيرًا. But talk to the Lord a lot. Talk to the Lord a lot. لَعَلَّ قَلْبَكَ يَرَى رَبَّكَ تَعَالَى. Perhaps, perchance, your soul, your heart will see the Almighty Allah. Sayyidina Umar said one day, وَلَمُ أَنَا لِلَّهِ إِبَادًا يُمِيتُونَ الْبَاطِلَ بِأَجْرِهِ وَيُحْيُونَ الْحَقَّ بِذِكْرِهِ. Sayyidina Umar said, know that Allah has servants who cause on falsehood to die out by ignoring it, and they give life to the truth by mentioning it. Let me explain it the way we're going to understand it. If somebody says something bad, Allah has a way of killing that news, of killing that information. How does he kill it? It is by making people to ignore it. Somebody writes something bad about you in the paper. Somebody says something bad about you, and you are the one telling people about that thing. You are trying to react. If you react, you are making that information to have a life. But when you ignore, you are making people to forget it. And we apply that principle a lot without even seeing, without getting across, having got across the sin of Umar. The way to kill bad news is to ignore it. That is the sin of Sayyidina Umar. It means exercising patience by not disclosing what you are not supposed to disclose. It's called discretion. And if you do it, you can be accused of disclosing it. Of libel, you can be accused of lying. Umar said, Allah has a way of killing bad news by making people to, by having servants of Allah to ignore that news. And he has a way of spreading good things by making people to mention it. One day, when Kutubi, when he wants to give us the meaning, want to talk about the tafsir of Ayah, Quran chapter 43, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He said, who is the best in speech than the one who calls on the way of Allah? Could we want to explain this particular ayah? And he advised Kumbar. Kumbar, he narrated what happened between Kumbar and Roma. Kumbar was insulted. Kumbar was one of the men under Sayyidina Ali, one of the people that was serving Sayyidina Ali. Somebody insulted him. And Sukutu Bina said, Ali called on Kumbar. He said, leave him. Don't answer him. Ignore him. He said, Da Satimaka, Walaha Anu. To the dear Rahman, what to the Satan, what to attribute Satimaka, among people Amako, among people Amako, in mislead Sukutu Anu. Anu said, come back, leave him. When you leave him, your creator, your Master Allah, will be pleased. Shaitan will be displeased. And your insulter, the man who insulted you, will be punished. He said, no punishment is sufficient for the fool except silence. He said, and no punishment is sufficient for somebody who has insulted you except for you to be silent. When you are silent, when you are not responding, there's no punishment that is more severe than that. That is the advice that Ali gave to one of his boys. Come back. That leave the person who is insulting you. Somebody is insulting you, somebody is abusing you, and you are exchanging words with him. You are making Satan with you. Satan will be displeased, and the person who is insulting you will be insulted, will feel disgraced, will feel lonely. D. If patients has to do with being contented, being content, being satisfied with what Allah has given you. It is called abstemiousness. The opposite is covetousness, which is another word for greed. Ibn Abbas said that barikli fi wa khlufu alayya kulla ga'ibatin li khayr sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Oh Allah, make me content with what you have given me and bless it for me and appoint good for me in everything I do not have." That's the prayer of the Prophet. I already know that it could be convenient for the organizers to write it on the screen for us. President used to pray for contentment, and he says, Allahumma qanini bima razaqtani wa barik li fi. Let me be content. Let me be satisfied. Let me have peace of mind. Let it be okay for me, whatever it is. Wa barik li fi, and bless it for me. Wa qlub alayya kulla ga'ibatin li bi khairin. And whatever I don't have, appoint good thing for me to replace it. Anything that I don't have, that I don't possess, is a prayer recommended by one of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Under hadith, Abu Dar was going with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day, and Prophet sallallahu asked him. He said, "Ya Abu Dar, taqulu kathratu al-mal lil-ghina qultu na'am." Abu Dar said, do you say that a lot of wealth, the abundance of wealth, possession is wealth? That abundance of wealth, abundance of things, resources, money, children is wealth. Go to now, and I answered him in affirmative. Abu Dar said, I said yes to the Prophet. Prophet said, are you saying insufficient possession is poverty? And I said, yes. Are you telling me, do you believe that if someone has a lot of possession, he's said to be wealthy? If he doesn't have, he's said to be poor. Abu Dhabi said, I told President said, no. He said, wealth is in the heart, and poverty is in the heart. Man kana ladinna fi qalbihi la yadru man laqiya min ad-dunya wa man kana al-faqru fi qalbihi fala yaghni ma akthara lahu fi ad-dunya wa innama yadru nafsahu suhaha wa innama yadru nafsahu suhaha sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa innama yadru nafsahu suhaha. Islam said, no, you are not right. Wealth is in the heart. Poverty is in the heart. Whoever has the wealth of heart, nothing can happen to him, nothing can befall him in this world. Whatever happens to him, he'll be contented. Whoever has poverty of the mind, whatever he possesses, whatever he has, will not be sufficient for him. And he said, he will only be harmed by the greed of his own soul. When the greed of it means poverty of the mind is worse, and it is not poverty of not lack of possessions. And I'm going to give you 3 instances. There used to be a story that says, so that's a story of balance. The title of the story is Daniel Pereleu. There was a king's servant. Because he had lived long with the king the king did put him in the position of his children. Wherever the king went, the king will make him to sit on the high table with him. And who will not recognize that he was his slave? He was enjoying this kind of life in the palace. And nobody could even say he was a slave. His name was Ida. One day, the king went out on a location. And Ida, as usual, was made to sit beside the king. The merriment was going on when Ida left the stage, left the high table, and he went into the dustbin where he kept the remnants, the leftover food, and he was eating there. Somebody saw him, somebody who had noticed him on the high table now said, King, something had happened. One of the children was sitting with you on the high table. He said, it is Ida who addressed himself as a king, as a servant. It means Ida has property of the mind. No matter what is given, we will not be satisfied because it doesn't have the contentment. And it's one of the situations that we need to exercise and advise to exercise patience. Number two, most of our politicians, they are well paid, they have a lot of allowances, they have everything at their beck and call. Even some of them who are in the House of Assembly, the constituency allowance that they get, if they execute the project, they will still have some profit left. The salary they collect every month, still, some of them are still engaging in corruption. Some of them are still embezzling money. That is poverty of the mind. No matter the amount of money that people like that have, since they don't have the inner quality, the contentment, the work of the heart, whatever they have will not be sufficient for them. Number three, there's something they call scarcity mentality. If you don't have contentment, even if you have a lot of possessions, you will still be afraid that that will get exhausted. It's not only possessions, because some people have got used to rushing. Some people have the notion that what you have can never go right. Even if you have sufficient things to go right, they will still struggle. You'll be surprised that we see 2 or 3 people in the bus stop and you'll see the rushing to enter the bus, in spite of the fact that there are enough spaces to accommodate them and to accommodate others who have not gone to the bus stop. That's what they call scarcity mentality. And it's one of the diseases of the heart, and it's caused by lack of patience, which even Column Agency I give the name of. If you have that control, if you can exercise patience by having contentment, abstemiousness, and you cannot do it, it's called greed. If it consists of controlling one's anger, it is called forbearance. But I've been coming across so many names for patience: forbearance, patience, self-restraint, self-control. If you call emergency, I try to draw a line between patience and forbearance, and I said, if you can control your anger, it says to be said to have forbearance, the opposite of which is impulsiveness or hasty action. President said, Lisa Sedidu, Bisuraha, Lisa Sedidu, Bisuraha, Lisa Sedidu, Bisuraha, Bisuraha is not the strong one who engages in wrestling, who engages in boxing, and it defeats his opponent. It's not strong. إنما السديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. The strong one is the one who controls his anger. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. President said, somebody who engages in wrestling or boxing or fighting another person, and he defeats the person is not strong. The strong one is he who can control his anger and doesn't engage in wrestling. That is the embodiment is who to Ramadan binu. Òun náà pè ní ipò rẹ̀ níjà ni. Ẹni tí ó lè ṣe yan tó pé ó ń bínú, òun lẹ́ni tó pé kì í ronú kó tó take action. Ẹni tó sì ló máa onínú fùfù tó ṣe wàràwàrà. Ànábì wa ní alágbára kọ́lẹ̀ ní náà o, ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ó dá ìmọ́lẹ̀ ó bá yà wá wí ní alágbára kọ́lẹ̀ o. Wọ́n ta alágbára lẹ́jọ́ pé ó rí ìbínú tí ò bí. Alágbára sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀karùn-ún, ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà, and whoever, if it consists of restraining from it, it is called gracefulness and steadiness, the opposite of which is hot-headed. Some people are so hasty that whatever they want to do, they be in a haste. And it's lack of planning. If you plan very well, if you organize yourself very well, you don't need to rush. If you manage your time, even though I said, if patience has to do with not being a haste, it is gracefulness. It is gracefulness. If you take your time to do things, if you manage your time very well, you are said to be graceful. But the opposite of that is hot-headedness. If you are in a haste, always rushing. When driving, you are rushing. When eating, you are rushing. When passing instruction, you are rushing. When you are in you are rushing. You are said to be hot-headed. And it's one of the areas that Colin says it shows that one lacks patience. Our noble President says, "Al-anatu min Allah, wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan." Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Clemency is from Allah, and haste is from Shaitan. May Allah save us from it. Whoever is always in a haste is in the group of Satan. Another situation in which Nukoy Majasiya has given different names to patients is that if it consists from running away, we are supposed to show courage. That one is called courage. You are not running away, where you are supposed to show manliness. It is called courage. But if you run away, where you are expected to be courageous to show manliness, it is called cowardice. Our noble President said, Abu Bakr reported this statement that the companions and the prophets, when they are catching form, they used to throw melons at each other. That shows that when there is no challenge, when there is a peaceful situation, they can go to the extent of using melons as short as it to play with themselves. But when the situation arises that requires them to be courageous, they act like men. We saw that. He said one day, the people of Medina, they had a south in a particular direction. When the shouting was so high, most of the people of Medina ran out and they were going in the direction of that shout. Surprisingly, on their way, they met our noble Prophet on the way. And the Prophet was riding on a horse. The Prophet was saying, Lam Turahu, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. It means the Prophet has got to that position before everybody. You are a man in the house, something happened. Instead of showing courage, instead of saying, let's see what is happening. Even though you must use your discretion, don't commit suicide, be careful before you go out. Don't just say because you have absolutely courage that you don't take calculated risk. You must take calculated risk. Prophet went out and he was at that position and he was already coming back with what was happening. Since he was the leader of the people, if he was to run away and the leader was to run away to what would have happened to the community, people were surprised that they met him on the way and he was telling them, be courageous, don't run away, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another one, if it consists of taking or restraining from taking revenge, it is called forgiveness. Forgiveness is another name for patience. If you don't take revenge, you are said to be forgiven. But if you refrain yourself from taking revenge, you are exercising patience. And that type of patience is called forgiveness, the opposite of which is revenge. The belief and halal and author Ibn Amunti reports that al-mu'min la yantasir li nafsihi yamnahu min dhalika al-Quran wa sunnah wa huwa muljam. Al-mu'min la yantasir li nafsihi. A believer will never take revenge for himself. Yamnahu min dhalika al-Quran wa sunnah wa huwa muljam. Sunnah and Quran have prevented him, have refrained him from that. He is refrained from taking revenge. I told you the story of Sayyidina Ali the last time we met, that he was fighting with someone at the point in which Ali has overpowered the man, and the man was already down. That the only thing left for Ali was to stab him or kill him or strangulate him. The man spat on Ali's face, and Ali refrained. Ali did not do anything for him. Somebody now asked Ali, you refrain from killing him when you are already overpowered him. He said, "Inni kuntu uqatiluhu lillah atat bazaka bi wajhi." He said, I was killing him, I was fighting him for Allah, because of Allah, until he spat on my face. If I had killed him after spitting on my face, it means I'm not fighting again for Allah. I'm taking revenge. So under that circumstance, in that tense situation, then Ali was able to maintain his calm. Abu Asim, may Allah be with him, says, reported that وَلِكُلِّ مُؤَجْمَلُ مَنْ يَكُونُ لِلْمُقْتَدِرِ عَلَى الْإِنْتِقَامِ. Says, forbearance is most graceful for someone who has the capability to take revenge. It's beautiful for you. You have the capability of taking revenge, but you refrain from taking revenge. Said that's a very beautiful thing for an individual to do. Ibn Qayyim says, "Al-afu abu ilayhi min al-intiqam." Said, forgiveness is more beloved to the Almighty Allah than vengeance. Waramatu ahabu ilayhi min al-uquba. He said, mercy is more beloved to Allah than punishment. Wal-fadlu ahabu ilayhi min al-khadli. And he said, grace is more beloved to the Almighty Allah than justice. Wal-ata'u ahabu ilayhi min al-muni. Giving is more beloved to Allah than withholding. Another situation in which patience can have different names is if it consists of refraining from being stingy, it is called generosity. From these definitions that I've been giving, as I'm giving you, it means that patience can come in so many together, can come with so many names. It depends on the situation. If you refrain from being stingy, it requires patience. To refrain from being stingy, you are said to be generous. And the opposite is miserliness. Our noble Prophet says, "Ma many abdin an aman Allah alayhi ni'matan fazbaga alayhi illa ja'ala ilayhi shay'an min hawa'i an-nas wa in tabarrama bihim faqad arada tilka an-ni'mata lil-zawali." Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, there's no human being that Allah will give something to, give blessing to, that it makes it abundant for him more than what he needs. that Allah will not put those who need those things close to him. Let me say to you, Islam said, there is no human being who Allah has blessed, and has blessed him in abundance, that Allah will not put under him those who will need his assistance. I was told a story one day. He said, oh man, he was going to be in his family. Members of the family would go to him for assistance because he was the Abiola, so to say, of the family. Then one day, out of annoyance, one of the sisters approached him for assistance. And he cleared up the annoyance. The woman says, sit down. Allah has given you resources because he knows that you are a better manager than some of us. They were born by the same parents. They passed through the same bed. They are educated, but he was the one who was rich, thinkingly rich. The woman said, keep quiet. Allah has bestowed his mercy on you because he knows that you are a better manager than all of us. And he has given it to you to manage for all of us. That's why I want to keep my share. The President said, nobody should be blessed by Allah. And that blessing is in abundance. Know that Allah will not put under him those who will continuously need his assistance. It means whatever you have, Allah is giving the portions of your brothers, of your sisters, of your relatives to you too, for you to share it for them. Nobody who Allah has blessed, and who Allah has blessed abundantly, that we not have those who will be requesting for assistance from him. And then we sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Torí pé kéèyàn sì sùúrù kọ́ mọ́ sáwọn, òní àpè lè náwó. Ẹni tó bá ti sùúrù tó sáwọn, òní àpè ní àlá àwọn agágọ̀. Ànábì ní kò sẹ́ni tọ́lọ̀ ń fún láràn sí, tọ́lọ̀ ń sòrè fún torí yàn pọ̀, tọ́lọ̀ wá ní kó àwọn tí wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ìsìlámẹ̀. Wọ́n èké tó ti kó fún ọyàn, àwọn ẹlòmíín bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ ni, àbúrò rẹ ni, aládùúgbò ni tí wọ́n ní assistance. Wọ́n á sọ̀tọ̀ fún wa, ẹnìkan tọ́lọ̀ ń kẹ́ nínú fámìlì ló ń kẹ́ gan orí ṣe. Àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ̀ kan wá lọ bá ẹjọ́ kan pé kọ́ràn lọ́wọ́, títí ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ọwọ́ àṣùn ìjọ náà lọ́wọ́ ní wàhálà yín pọ̀ ẹ̀dí dàbí láàmú jù dákẹ́ ẹnu ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run tó fún ọ ló mọ̀ pé ọlọ́run mọ̀ ní ìjèrè tó kó fún ọ lówó owó wá ní òdodo lẹ́yìn yẹn sọ́tọ́ Ànábì Muhammad lórí rẹ̀. Ànábì Muhammad lórí rẹ̀. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́ ètò tó kù ó ní pé if patience consists of refraining from apportioning blame, so people are not patient to get saying that whatever happens, we pass the ball. Whatever happens, we pass the ball. Whatever happens, we pass the ball. If you don't do that, if you don't pass the ball, it is referred as Calvary, a strong person, a manly person. Somebody is ready to stand by whatever situation you are finding yourself. Somebody is ready to pass the ball to any other person. The people are very quick in passing the ball. If you refrain from passing the ball, if you refrain from blaming others, it's a form of patience, and it is regarded as Calvary. And those who don't do that, they are not said, they are not manly enough. Accept responsibility for whatever happens. Don't pass the blame. You will not cut off your head if you have made any mistake. Let it be known that your hair is small, woman, and to forgive is divine. I've made a mistake. Please forgive me. You don't blame others. Whatever happened to you. Abu Dhabi said, the same Abu Dhabi said, and he reported this from our noble Prophet ﷺ. He said, Allah says, this is reported by Abu Dhabi as a statement of Prophet. Prophet is saying, it is not his statement, it's the statement of Allah. It's like when I see, and he says, Allah will say, Ya ibadi, innama ya'malukum usiya lakum. Summa uwafikum iyaha. He said, oh my servant, my deed, it's only your deed that I record. Whatever you do, I'm recording it. And I'm the one who will compensate you for whatever you have done. myself. I'm the one who will compensate you for whatever you have done. فَمَنْ وَجَدَ خَيْرًا فَلْيَحْمَدِ اللَّهَ. Whoever in his record sees good things, is to thank Allah. مَنْ وَجَدَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ فَلَا يَلُمَنَّ إِلَّا نَفْسَهُ. Whoever sees something different that he doesn't like, he should not blame any other person. He is to blame himself. We have this 6:30. The last part will have been different perspective from patients and different degrees of patients. Then the patients of man, the patients of jinn, and the patients of the angels. Inshallah, when next we meet, we shall talk on those items later, inshallah. Today, I've been able to discuss different names given to patients under different situations, under different circumstances by our Sheikh Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya. And it seems that every situation falls under patients. Patients in different guise, patients in different forms. Generosity is regarded as an act of patience. Manliness is an act of patience. Being honorable is an act of patience. And so on and so forth. The word before, when they say somebody is not patient, we think that, oh, he's reacting violently to issues. He's complaining only violently because he has been afflicted with calamity. Even though Koyashi said, patience can come in so many forms. And that is what we have taken pains to explain today. May Allah consider us among his servants who be able to exercise patience in all situations, in all circumstances, and in all forms. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Látàárọ̀ níta bára wa sọ lẹ́nu ni pé àti sùúrù ìṣe pé sùúrù dà mú lọ́rọ̀ èèyàn kan yá àtúpọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀nà lèyẹn ń gbà lò sùúrù. Nítorí bá ṣẹlẹ̀ láàbì ìtàmì pé irú sùúrù ilé ìdílé kéèyàn láwọn àbí kó máa náwó sọ́nà Ọlọ́run. Ara sùúrù ni kéèyàn náwó sọ́nà Ọlọ́run. Kéèyàn ní fọkànbalẹ̀, kéèyàn ní tẹ́lọ́rùn, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn lákin, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn máa lójó, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn máa tọrọ nǹkan, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn máa ṣe sìnà, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn máa sọ tí ò sọ, ara sùúrù ni. Kéèyàn máa parọ́, ara sùúrù ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀ sùúrù ni, gbogbo ẹ̀ kò sí níbi níbi sùúrù yìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó kẹnu púpọ̀ ni. Ọlọ́run ó jẹ́ kí àgbọ́yé rẹ̀ ó jẹ́ kó rọrùn fún gbogbo wa. Ọlọ́run sì wọlé tó máa ní sùúrù. Gbogbo tí ó tàn wá ní sùúrù lọ́mọdé kò ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa. Ànábì ní sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ó ní kéèyàn kí èèyàn kóra ró kó má wá nǹkan ju tó pọ̀ lọ, má wá ju tó nídìí lọ. Ó ní kọ̀nà ara sùúrù ni. Abẹ́lọ́run Ọlọ́run fún wa ní tẹ́lọ́rùn pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó bá fún wa. Kọ̀ní náà ìmọ̀ àtọ̀tánà kó tó bá fún wa yóò tó Ọlọ́run ọ̀rọ̀ sàkítànà ọlọ́mọkùnrin náà bí má rọ̀ sàkítànà wà ní tó bá fún wa yóò tó Ọlọ́run ọba ìkìlá náà fi àlùbáríkà sí fún wa. Bó bá sí fún wa pátá má tó Ọlọ́run tó tí ì bá ní tí wọ́n bá ní tẹ́lọ́rùn ó dàbọ̀ gbogbo láyé ìkọ́lé a máa ní ìtàkùn ní property of the mind. Wọ́n lè sọ̀tọ̀ fún wa lórí ẹ̀mọ́ fún wa ní kan ìdá fún wa ní mo sọ̀rọ̀ pé àkàwé àwọn olóṣèlú tó kí ní lówó tó náà wọn ò tún ní sùúrù láti lè ojú kúrò láti lè tẹ́lọ́rùn. Wọ́n sọ fún wa scarcity mentality ó lè ní gbogbo tó bá ní láyé rẹ̀ kò ní tẹ́lọ́rùn náà ni. Àìní tẹ́lọ́rùn yẹn ọ̀kan jù àìní ọ̀kan wa kò ní ara bá. Ẹni tó bá ní fọkàn balẹ̀ tó ní tẹ́lọ́rùn pẹ̀lú nǹkan tó lọ́n fún olókàn rẹ̀ máa balẹ̀. Gínà nafsi òun ni gínà ìrọ̀rọ̀ ọkàn òun ni gínà kìí gínà máa kìí gínà máa kìí gínà ìrọ̀rọ̀ ọkàn owó pọ̀ látò pọ̀ àwọn ẹ̀yẹ tó ní mọ́tò àwọn ẹ̀yẹ tó nílé àwọn ẹ̀yẹ tó láṣọ ṣẹ́kọ́ ń lògùn wọn kó tó sùn ní ẹ̀kẹ́lẹ̀ lọ gbé olókè tó tó yìí ọlọ́kàn balẹ̀ wọn tó bá fún wa lọ́jọ́ tó wa lọ́jọ́ alẹ́ tẹ̀lé wọn àpòlù kàwé adáwọ́sọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lè wà fún gbogbo bí mo ti sọ látẹ̀ kan bí tí bá ti ṣàṣìṣe ọ̀nà foríjì ni ìdí mo sọ tó dáa ládàá rẹ̀ ọ̀nà ìjà àjọ pín wàlá ọ̀là wàlá kú wàtà إلا بالله العلي العظيم. توقع lágbára Ọlọ́run a tún sọ̀rọ̀ nípa irú sùúrù ní tó ń bẹ. A sọ̀rọ̀ nípa sùúrù táwọn èèyàn ní, sùúrù táwọn èèyàn ní, sùúrù táwọn màlẹ́kà ní, gbogbo ìlà sọ̀rọ̀ nípa rẹ̀. A wà sọ pé táwọn èèyàn ti ṣàgbákò, táwọn èèyàn rántí escape. Àwa lọ́pọlọ, àwọn ọ̀dọ́pọlọ. Ọpọlọ yẹn ni ló jẹ́ pé sùúrù pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹranko ní sùúrù tí wọn ò ní choice ni. Ṣé bá ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ máa dẹ̀kọ̀ ní ìjára rẹ̀? Wọ́n mú kí sùúrù tí wọ́n ní àwọn ọ̀dọ́pọlọ. Àwa lọ́pọlọ, wọ́n bá sọ wá mọ́lẹ̀ àlèjá. Ló jẹ́ pé ṣe ti wọ́pọ̀ ju tí wọ́n lọ. Àwọn màlẹ́kà, àwọn onítàpọlọ, wọ́n ní rísì. Àwọn lọ́pọlọ, wọn ò ní wings and capacities. Àwọn ò ní gbogbo kan gbà ara wọn. Àwọn bàjẹ́ àwọn òní, àwọn la ní lọ́dọ̀, àwọn la lójú kòkòrò, àwọn la ní fọkànbalẹ̀, àwọn la ní ìtẹ́lọ́rùn, àwọn la ní sùúrù, àwọn kàlẹ́ kan àwọn èèyàn láàánú. Táwa pàdé lágbára Ọlọ́run, á sọ báwo ni sùúrù táwọn èèyàn ti fẹ́ràn kù. Báwo ni táwọn èèyàn yàtọ̀ sí ti táńgẹ́lì, báwo ni táńgẹ́lì ti yàtọ̀ sí ti àwọn àdìjẹ́ náà. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Allahu Akbar. We say Jazakumullahu khairan to our CM. May Almighty Allah continue to fortify him. May Almighty Allah continue to protect him. May Allah continue to guide him aright. Let's recite Surah to Quraysh for our chief missioner. May Almighty Allah continue to protect him. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ila fi Quraysh. إلى فيهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Now we will give Alaji Arulu the opportunity to appreciate everybody. I don't know if Alaji Arulu is with us here. Alaji Arulu. Aláàjì Arúwólò tẹ bá lọ́rọ̀ tẹ fẹ́ bá àwọn èèyàn sọ abẹ́fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn. It's time for that. If it's not Aláàjì Arúwólò.
I don't think he's there, except he's on that device.
Okay. Now our chief missioner will now pray for him and every other person.
As we do for our hosts and hostesses, Alaji Arulus will not be an exception. We recite to the party for him. May Allah reward him for what he has done today. May Allah continue to bless him. May Allah continue to take care of all his affairs. May Allah add what he has done today to still of good on your Qiyamah. Kébà àti màtí gbogbo àwọn tó ti gbà wá lálejò tẹ́lẹ̀. A kà sọ́dọ̀ tó lè pàtì fún bàbá wa Aláàjì Arúwólò Ọlọ́run kó san wọ́n lẹ́san rí. Kádùúrà gbà lórí ọmọ, lórí ìyàwó, lórí dúkìá, lórí iṣẹ́ wọn. Àájọ kà sọ́dọ̀ tó lè pàtì fún wọn. Àtàwọn àti fámìlì wọn àti wo nǹkan ní wọn. Èyí tí mi àti tí ó mi ọlọ́mọ náwó bànújẹ́ sí. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما ينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا والذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما. يدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما. ويعجب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات كان بالله جل زوي علم دائرة الزوي وقد بلغ عليهم ولعنهم وعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عزيزا حكيما. إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتزروه وتوكروه وتسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم ومن نكث فإنما ينكث على نفسه ومن يفعل ما عدا عليه الله فسيؤتيه أجرا عظيما سيقول لك المكلفون من الأعراب ثقلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فتدبر لنا يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم اليوم يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا وأراد بكم نفعا قد كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا فسنة الله ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنين إلى أهلهم أبدا ودون ذلك في قلوبكم وظننتم زوي وكنتم مبورا ما لم يؤمن بالله ورسوله فإن أعتدنا للكافرين سعيرا ولله ملك السماوات والأرض يقول لمن يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وكان الله غفورا رحيما يقول المكلفون إذا أطلقتم إلى مغانم لتأخذوها ذرونا نتبعكم يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله إلا تتبعون كذلك قال الله من قبل ويقولون بل تعذبوننا الكامل لا يفقهون إلا قليلا كل مكلفين من الأعراب وزين لكم من أولي بعض شديد تقاتلونهم أيسلمون أن تطيعوا يؤتكم الله أجرا حسنا أن تولوا كما توليتم من قبل يعذبكم عذابا أليما ليس للأعمى حرج ولا للأعرج حرج ولا للمريض حرج ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخل جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار من تولى يعذبه عذابا أليما لقد يري الله أن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة وعلمهم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأصابهم فتحا قريبا ومغانم كثيرة يأخذونها وكان الله عزيزا حكيما وعدكم الله مغانم كثيرة تأخذونها وجعلكم آدي وكفى أيدي الناس عنكم وجعلكم آيات للمؤمنين ويهديكم صراطا مستقيما وأخرى لم تقدروا عليها فرياد الله بها وكان الله على كل شيء قديرا ولا قاتلكم الذين كفروا لولوا الأدبار ولا يجدون وليا ولا نصيرا سنة الله التي قد خلت من قبل ولا تجد لسنة الله تبديلا والذي كف أيديهم عنكم وأيديكم عنهم ببطن مكة من بعد أن ينصركم عليهم وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا هم الذين كفروا وصدوكم عن المسجد الحرام الذي معكوفا يبلغ مهلا ولولا رجال مؤمنون ونساء مؤمنات لم تعلموهم أن تدعوهم فصيبكم منهم معرة بغير علم يدخل الله في رحمته من يشاء لا تزيلوا العذاب من الذين كفروا منهم عذابا أليما رجال الذين كفروا بقلوبهم العامية من الجاهلية أنزل الله سكينته على رسوله وعلى المؤمنين فالزمهم كلمة التقوى وكان قويا وعلا وكان الله بكل شيء عليما لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق تدخلون المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين معالقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون وعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا هو الذي يرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على دين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار فما بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا فيما هم بوجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم بالتوراة مثلهم بالإنجيل وشرين خرج ستيه فزره فزلزبت وعلى سوقه يجب الزراع يجزى بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وسلم الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه لم لك الحمد كله لك الشكر كله عليك يا الأمر كله علانية وزيره أنت آل لأن توبت أنت آل لأن تومت أنت على كل شيء قدير لك الحمد وترجى الحمد دار رضيتا الحمد بعد رضا الحمد بالإسلام الحمد بالإيمان الحمد بالقرآن اللهم لك الحمد وأنت نور السماوات والأرض وما فيهن لك الحمد وأنت القيوم السماوات والأرض وما فيهن لك الحمد وأنت ملك السماوات والأرض وما فيهن اللهم لا تضلنا فيما قلت من عدد بني لا كفرت ولا أماني لا فرجته ولا قرباني لا نفسته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريدا إلا سبيته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا عدوا إلا غفرته إلا كفيته ولا مبتلا إلا أبيته ولا تائبا إلا قبلته ولا آخفا إلا أمنته ولا ولدا إلا أسلاته ولا مجاهدا في سبيلك إلا نصرته ولا آلة من هوائج الدنيا والآخرة ولا قضاء إلا قضيتها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب الدنيا عذاب القبر يوم الدجال والزوج المسيح ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا مسلمين والكنا بالصالحين لما زدنا ما علمنا ما يدينا لما يدينا ما فينا لما فينا ما بلنا لما بلنا ما رمنا لما رمنا لما سرنا لما سرنا بتلك جميلة من دار من دار كلمة لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الحمد لله الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, sir. Jazakumullah khairan. We appreciate everyone who has participated in this tafsir. May Allah accept it from us as act of ibadah. Inshallah, tomorrow we start our last 10 days dawah series, online dawah series. Inshallah, tomorrow. Our last 10 days online dawah series will commence tomorrow, inshallah. So we employ everyone of us to join us same time by 5 p.m. Inshallah. The link we will share with us. So we'll be meeting Alaja Agania Babalola tomorrow when she will be presenting. We will talking about parent children upbringing, inshallah. So let's meet tomorrow by 5 p.m. May Allah spare our time, our life beyond tomorrow. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalam ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sallu ala nabiyil kareem.